currently on a ferry on my way to San Francisco to do some street photography. And I'm pretty excited because today I will be using this Thypoch 35mm f1.4 FLE lens. It's supposed to be kind of like the Leica Summilux, so I'm really excited to test it out. And also, I've never done street photography with a strictly only manual lens, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be trying my first time zone focusing and shooting from the hip, so I'll see how that goes. But a lot of first times today. First time using the DJI Action 5 Pro, first time using the Mic Mini, first time using this sling bag, this lens, first time on this ferry, which is due to crazy high gas prices. I decided, you know what, now is the best time ever to try the ferry. So that's what I did. But in the meantime, I am gonna cruise around this ferry and see if I can get some interesting photos of the passengers or with the vista in the background. So let's get to it. So those were some nice warm-up shots, with my favorite being the one of the lady looking out the window. But now, here I am in downtown San Francisco, and I'm eager to start practicing shooting from the hip. And as I am walking out of the gate, I spot a man on a bicycle advertising rides for people, and I decide to give it a go. It's not too bad, I think. I believe this was at f8 or f11 in order to make sure I had a good chance of nailing focus. I do think I gave too much space up top on this one. It would have been nice to see a little bit of the wheels to provide a better visual that he's on a bike. I also like how the city buildings are layered behind him. I went back to the ferry building and saw these stairs, but I couldn't find an angle for an interesting shot I liked. Luckily, at the top of the stairs, I did take this photo of a reflection. I like that it says Port of San Francisco at the top, and that the reflection shows two windows into the street, separated by a column down the middle. Anytime I see someone standing like this with a bag in hand waiting to cross the street, I am always reminded of the Joker's introduction in The Dark Knight. So I eventually found myself in this corridor where the light was piercing through some openings, and I figured I should try to get a bird's eye view of the first floor in hopes of some interesting compositions. And I managed to get this photo. There was a person in dark clothing that walked through, which can barely be seen on the left. This spot had potential. Unfortunately, there wasn't much foot traffic, so I decided to move on. And of course, this is all up in the... I really like this one. Seems like she is riding into complete darkness, and I also like that nobody else is in the patch of light with her, so she is completely isolated from everything else. I wish that person at the end would have been walking straight down the middle. I really like the colors here. The sort of sandy brown color of the buildings up against the blue sky behind them I find visually pleasing. I came across this girl walking her husky, and I asked if I could take a photo of the husky, whose name is Luna. I wanted to try taking a portrait of Luna wide open at f1.4 to get some practice in, and man, look at this. I just love the way this lens renders these photos wide open. I made it to Portsmouth Square in Chinatown, and I don't show it here, but on one side of the park, there were so many people huddled up around different card games. I felt a bit overwhelmed by it all, and I also was beginning to run low on energy, so I decided to move on through Chinatown. There's something about this photo that I really like. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I just know that I like it. Since I was starting to feel tired, I decided to camp at this corner for a little bit and wait for people to come to me. Oh, interesting light here. This spot had a lot of potential in my opinion. I think this would have worked better if she was walking from right to left so that we could see her face, and also if another person was walking down the stairs at the same time. I've been at it for about 3 hours now, and I could just feel my energy going away, and so I decided to take a little break, sit down at this, what is this called? I don't know, something square, Saint something square. So far, the lens has been working out pretty good. I really like it. I'm starting to see why a lot of people say that it's their go-to walk around everyday lens. I've been pretty happy with the way I'm able to frame up what I want, and what I'm seeing around me that I want to take photos of seems to fit the 35 pretty well. So that's pretty good. In terms of Chinatown, when I got there, I was overblown by how many people were at that park. To be honest, I was a little bit nervous and just remained cautious about getting close to people, especially with a 35, because that's I feel like I need to get close. I mean, I can crop in and get like an equivalent of 50, but I want to go back to that park and kind of take photos of the guys that were playing, I don't know what game it was, but it's just like little pieces, not cards. They were playing a different game. The card people, I'm definitely not gonna probably approach. That's definitely money being exchanged. I don't think they would like any sort of documentation happening of that. I'm gonna make my way back to that park and force myself to at least get one photo of either like a detailed photo of hands moving pieces or people. I'm gonna go back to that park, and then after that park, I think I'm gonna go down Market and head back to the ferry building and see what I get. I do want to find a spot where I can walk towards traffic, towards foot traffic, not car traffic, obviously, foot traffic, where the sun is in people's face, because I think that's going to help me out taking photos, because people are going to be somewhat blinded by the sun right in their face, that they're not going to really so much as bat an eye at me taking photos. And plus, they're going to be front lit, so that'll be great for some captures, for some photos. So we're backtracking now back to that Chinatown park, and hopefully I have the guts and courage to take a photo of what I envision in my head. On my way back to the park, I walked by two restaurants, with one having the ducks hanging by the window, which I wish I would have stopped to take a photo of, and this other restaurant with workers making what looked like dumplings. Not exactly the photo I had in mind, but I still like it. I hovered around this game for a bit in order to capture the scene and managed to get these. I then went over to another game. I looked away to dial in my aperture and pre-focus, and then I put my camera down by my hip and managed to get this photo. This is one of my favorites from the day. I was happy I nailed the focus, and just seeing how this lens renders the rest of the environment around him is simply amazing. After that last photo, I was satisfied with the park location and ended up going down California Street back towards the ferry building. I decided to treat this as a speed round and shoot from the hip everybody that walked towards me. Particularly sure. Once I made it back near the water, I spotted this couple holding hands, and I really liked the gentleman's suit. Eventually, they started walking back towards me, and I was able to take this photo. Nice subtle rainbow in the bottom right of the frame. At this point, I was pretty beat and getting really hungry, so I walked back to the ferry gate and put away my Osmo Action. But while on the ferry, I took these final images of the city. So I can definitely say that my first outing with the Thypoch Simera was a good one. I have thoughts on this lens that I will be going over in another video, so subscribe if you would like to see that. If you are interested to know which were my favorites from this day, feel free to go check out my Instagram where I will have a post highlighting my top picks. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.